What it do? What it do?
Hey, what's up? Good morning. Or if you're like me and you're a night owl, good super fucking late evening. Ho. My brain is a total fried egg right now. Spent all night writing. Yeah, good morning. Hello. Somebody said, see me in LA? Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. I'm really happy to hear that, I looked at our ticket sales, and once again, we're doing really well. Looks like quite a few people will be there. It's going to be awesome. If you've never been to one of our meetups before, well, one of the DP meetups anyway, then you don't know what you're missing, man. They're super chill events. But yeah, it's definitely time to chill, for sure. Got to go to the last two shows, can't go this time. Ah, that sucks, man. That sucks. But hey, if this one's a success, and by all the early indications that we've got, it looks like it's going to be, then you can count on us doing more of these in different parts of the country and possibly the world. GeoGuessr IRL, dude. Yeah, dude. We could do a round of GeoGuessr and do a meetup in whatever town we land on, man. Yeah, I don't feel like playing Kenshi tonight, man. Trust me, like, I'm normally pretty horrible at Kenshi. My brain right now is, like I said, it's a scrambled fucking egg, man. Like, it's soup up top. Thoughts on LaVey? I don't really have many. When it comes to Satanism, I've always thought that Aleister Crowley was a more interesting figure. Never really got into Anton LaVey. Peter doing the small talk. Yeah, dude. The small talk barrage. I'm your favorite YouTube gamer, huh? Wow. I don't even know what to say to that, man. So once again, we're dealing with YouTube is really getting bad about this notification thing. I mean, eventually they go out. Like, the stream I did earlier today or yesterday or however you want to look at it. I mean, today, it's still today for me. Anyway, stream I did earlier, like, people just trickled in, and then eventually a huge wave of them went out, and we got up to like 300 people. But as it stands right now, there's 48. There's 48 of you, and I'm fine with that. It's creating a chill environment in the chat that I'm not used to. Yeah, dude, man tan, dude. I'm trying to work on something for Highdeology. I've got some ideas for Highdeology. I want to, well, I guess I could show it to you guys. Let's see. Is there a way for me to do that? Let me see here. I want to show you guys something I kind of want. Can we do this YouTube thing? Yeah. So this video here that I'm using, this is the playlist I'm using, but you can see how he's got his logo in the center, and then he's got this kind of cool visualizer around the edge. I want something like that for Highdeology. Something that's sound reactive. I've been looking into how to set them up. I guess it's not super hard to do. You just got to find the right visualizer and then, you know, make it transparency of it. But I want something like this for Highdeology. Something with, like I said, the sound reactive. So that I have something else to, you know, put on the screen. You know, I've kind of gotten tired of, you know, these types of things. Make it your gut that's wobbling. TJ had kind of a cool idea. I think I might do something different with it, though. I don't know. We'll see. I kind of want to get somebody to draw a cool cartoon picture of me and have the beard be the sound reactive part. Does that make any sense? So, like, have the beard start, but then, like, you know, as it gets where my chin is, it becomes, you know, some sound bars that grow and shrink while I talk. I don't know. I don't know how feasible something like that would be. But man, I want it. Yeah. I mean, people have drawn me a bunch of times, so maybe I should look into possibly... TJ's pretty decent with Photoshop, so he might be able to help me out. Make a transparency that I can then apply a custom soundbar to, you know. Make it a couple of different shades of brown and kind of a dark red to make it look like maybe some gray strands in there too. It'd be pretty dope, you know. Have your feet wiggle. Oh yeah, dude, that'd be fun. Yeah, if I could just get the ball, if I could get the dude that did our animation to give me just the ball, and then have him animate the legs kicking for me in that position. So that when I talk, the little legs kick. Oh, yeah, dude. Have Squeaks nodding in the corner. Yeah, huh? I don't know. I just want something, because, you know, not just to use here with you guys. Well, I guess you guys will probably watch what I'm talking about too, but I'm thinking about dipping my toe back into the types of videos that I made at the start of this channel. Hey, Paul, thanks for being open about depression and mental health. It's really helped me. I'm glad to hear that, man. Go forth and do likewise. But yeah, like I said, I'm thinking about dipping my toe back into that. You know, just kind of whatever topic suits my fancy. Find a video, respond to it in chunks, live and unscripted like I used to. I've had the itch lately. But I don't want to do a camera shot for those. I kind of want to have something else to put up. Something like I was talking about before. Something that I can, you know, put in the corner and move to different parts of the screen, you know, when I'm editing to show other things. I think I could do some pretty slickly edited little videos that are all done kind of extemporaneously off the top of my head, and then edited after the fact. It would look pretty cool. Go forth and take my money. There you go. There you go, man. Oh, thank you. I'll do that. I appreciate it. I love your philosophies. Yeah, man. I just had kind of I'll tell you what, man. I get these, like, passions. And they burn pretty hot for a while. And then when I satisfy one of them, then it's hard to do something similar. And I've been really passionate about the philosophy of Derek Jensen for a very long time because it was very foundational to me. And that passion really isn't evident for a whole lot of other philosophers. I'm not a huge philosophy buff. So I'm afraid that what made that series of Paulosophy, you know, that 2-video series that I did on that talk by Derek Jensen, the passion might not be there if I were to cover somebody, I don't know, some other contemporary philosopher. You know, a lot of people have wanted me to watch Jordan Peterson or something, you know, and I don't know. How's the weight loss? Still going strong, man. I haven't fucked up on my diet. Not at least not royally. There've been days where I probably ate a few more carbs than I should, but I'm staying in the zone. I'm in strong ketosis, and I'm dropping weight at a slow and steady pace. Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson. I mean, maybe I'll give that. This isn't going to be Paulosophy, but maybe, you know, whatever. We'll watch a Jordan Peterson video or something. What's one, you know, let's see. I'll just do it. Let's see what happens. All right, let's see. What's the first video that comes up on Google? Jordan Peterson on taking responsibility for your life. 6 minutes. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. Let's see. Damn it. Things have gotten cluttered here. There we go.
Dr. Peterson, good to have you on the program.
Thank you very much.
With the popularity of your book and your YouTube lectures, you're obviously tapping into something that nobody else is tapping into at the moment. What is that?
It's partly responsibility. I don't think that people have talked to young people about responsibility in any real sense. Not and being on their side at the same time for like 50 years.
All right, so already I got a problem because this wasn't my fucking experience. I grew up within the last 50 years, and my parents used to lecture me about fucking responsibility all the time. And what does he mean, tell people about responsibility and be on their side about it? Your parents are also on your side when they're lecturing you about responsibility. They're not against you. Like, am I wrong? I mean, was I weird? Was it weird that I grew up in a fucking household where my parents constantly lectured me about responsibility as soon as I was old enough to understand the concept?
And that's just too long because most people find the meaning in their life through responsibility.
Most people find the meaning in their life through responsibility. Citation fucking needed. Where's he getting that number?
Isn't it fair to say, though, that some people, through no fault of their own, have tough lives and that no matter how much personal responsibility they take, that won't change? So, for example,
Yes.
You and I, we've had a lot of good fortune in our lives. We've been born to, reasonably affluent, peaceful countries. I have a job that I have worked hard at, but I've had lots of luck. You have written a book and done a series of lectures that have become embraced around the world. Some people don't get.
What's this thing he does? Hold on. That's interesting. I'm going to back this up a little bit because while she's talking, he can't be quiet. He needs to hear something coming out of his mouth. So let's listen to what he does.
I have a job that I have worked hard at, but I've had lots of luck. You have written a book and done a series of lectures that have become embraced around the world. Some people don't get lucky breaks.
That's for sure. Some people just die, and horribly.
Everybody dies horribly. What the fuck was that, dude? Man, what do people see in this dude? Like, dude, that sounds like something that is that why all the edgy teenagers like Jordan Peterson? Because he sounds like one of them? Because, like, I could hear that let's listen to that last exchange. Because I could hear this being the woman is a principal and Jordan Peterson is the edgy kid that got pulled into the principal for a lecture. Let's listen and see if it works. So she's the principal. He's the edgy kid in class. Okay, here we go.
Around the world, some people don't get lucky breaks.
That's for sure. Some people just die, and horribly.
Yep. It works. It works perfectly. You know what? You've been very lucky to come to this school. Some people don't get lucky. Yeah, that's right. Some people just die horribly. Edgy Peterson, dude.
Yeah, life's rough, no doubt about it. And if good luck comes your way, then you should be grateful for it. And if happiness manages to manifest itself, you should be grateful for that too.
There's no such thing as good luck. I agree, you should probably be happy if happiness manifests itself in your life. But this idea that, like, good luck has anything to do with anything is retarded.
How do you give a personal responsibility message while taking account that for some people it's harder to take personal responsibility and the deck is stacked against them?
Well, I think the deck is stacked against everyone to some degree because life is very difficult and we all die.
Right. But some people don't have fucking legs. Some people are mentally retarded. Some people have focal motor disorders. Some people get seizures every goddamn day. So, I think that's kind of what she was talking about.
So, but some people do have it harder than others.
Yeah, that's true.
And all of us have it very hard at some times in our lives. It's like, well, what's the alternative? You take responsibility for that and try to struggle uphill because the alternative makes everything worse. It's not like it's fair. I know perfectly well that people have brutal lives. I've been a psychotherapist for 20 years.
Okay, so once again, citation needed, that there's no choice but to struggle uphill because the alternative makes everything worse. Citation needed. I don't buy that. I don't buy that this universal truth he's tried to sneak by us in the middle of this sentence. And I wonder if it'll come up again in the future in this interview. I kind of doubt it, but it's an important thing.
Perfectly well that people have brutal lives. I've been a psychotherapist for 20 years. I've seen things you can't imagine, horror shows that you can't fathom, and people who have been hurt in so many ways, so many dimensions. It's like, bitter? Should they be bitter? Should they be resentful? Should they become violent? These things don't help. They have to struggle uphill despite their excess burden. And it's responsibility, not guilt, you know?
Oh, does he need to go up a little bit? Sorry. Yeah, I can crank him.
It's not necessarily their fault. That's not the point.
We've been seeing a trend, particularly in the United States, but also here in Australia, where there has been an erosion of freedom of speech on campuses, where people with views that are considered offensive, politically incorrect or triggering are no longer
You mean
now...
people with views, in other words?
Well, certain views, more than others, tend to be not just the subject of protest, but those people will be, there'll be attempts to exclude them from speaking at campuses.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
What is going to be the effect if that kind of behaviour continues in those kinds of environments?
It's hard to tell. The broader social effect is not going to be good because lots of the things that are happening in the universities that aren't good are already leaking out into the broader social world. Part of what's going to happen is that people are going to stop coming and speaking on campuses. The comedians in the United States, many of them already they won't come and do their shows on campus because everybody's so sensitive to offense. But it also drives political polarization, which isn't a good thing unless you want to drive political polarization.
I mean, I gotta be honest, I don't disagree here. I don't find a whole lot of hokiness in his response to this. The fundamental points being that this kind of hyper offended, deplatforming, centralized fucking SJW nonsense that seems to have swept campuses. I agree that it's leaking into the world. I agree that it's a bad thing. I agree that the social implications are kind of an unknown right now, but are most likely going to be pretty negative. So he's on point with this. I think this is how he snuck in the door, honestly. Right? The first time I remember seeing Jordan Peterson, he was arguing with a bunch of, trans demi boys outside of one of his lectures or something about whether or not, he was obligated to call them by their made up pronouns. So that's kind of how he burst onto the national scene. So, so this is really his hook, as far as I see it, the anti-SJW angle, which many tenets, it's hard to argue with. Many tenets of the anti-SJW Bible are pretty fucking correct, including a lot of what's being said here.
And I think the universities are going to cut the branch off that they sit on.
Is being sensitive to offence such a problem, though? Like, we would have previously called that manners.
It's a terrible problem. So imagine you, okay, so the rule is you can't offend anyone, all right? Let's say you're speaking to one person, I can't offend you. All right, fair enough. What if I'm speaking to 10 people? Do I get to offend 1 in 10? How about 1 in 100? How about 1 in 1,000? You're going to come out on stage and you're going to say something important.
Sorry, I'm just going to pause and address Ignar here. He says he doesn't see it around his campus in Portland, which is that's a more than progressive city. Portland is like the beating heart of ultra-leftism, and you're saying it's not super bad on your campus, and that's pretty crazy. I got to be honest with you, though. I went to a city college in Fresno. I went to Fresno City College for a few semesters pretty recently. Within the last 3 years, I was there. And when I was there were flyers everywhere talking about workshops on pronouns, and we're the safe space for LGBTQ people and people of color on campus was, and what the rules were, and how you should treat people. You know what I mean? Shit was everywhere. So you've got an example of a city where people would probably assume a lot of that shit would be going on, and you're saying it's really not. And then I've got an example of a city where people would think not a whole lot of that would be going on. It's a heavily Republican area in the middle of California, right in the middle of farmland. You'd think that'd be a pretty right-leaning campus, but nope. It was absolutely fucking, like I said, flyers for it were everywhere. So the surrounding environs of Portland isn't as leftist as the media makes it out. Well, I wouldn't know. Anyway, let's back up a little bit and get back to Jordan here, because we're almost done with this video.
To one person, I can't offend you. All right, fair enough. What if I'm speaking to 10 people? Do I get to offend 1 in 10? How about 1 in 100? How about 1 in 1,000? You're going to come out on stage and you're going to say something important about something vital, and you're not going to offend 1 person in 1,000? Well, you can't say anything about anything important ever without offending probably the person you're talking to. Important speech about important issues, especially contentious issues, is instantly offensive.
But there are ways that you can share, I guess, provocative views where you attempt to still do that with an air of, say, respectfulness, where you're trying to mitigate against the offensiveness.
This is true. Yeah, you can actually try listening when you're having a conversation, right? Assuming that both people who are having the conversation are of goodwill, and they're not trying to play tricks, and they're struggling towards the truth, which neither of them hold completely, and both understand that. Yeah, you can reach across fairly large gaps and negotiate peace. Thank God for that, or we'd be at each other's throats all the time.
So, once again, I don't disagree, but this is all pretty fucking, this is like, Civics 101. I mean, this is all pretty basic shit. He's not saying anything profound. He's not saying anything I haven't heard said before a million different times in a million different ways. So I'm just kind of wondering where the unmitigated brilliance is. Is it really all just rooted in his ability to pwn SJWs? Because everything that's wrapped around it seems to be either middle of the road kind of agreeable shit that you hear everywhere, or totally like, I don't know, just wonky shit like he began with.
The example of there are some transgender people who want to not be referred to as he or she. They would prefer to be called Z or they. If somebody wants to be addressed like that, what does it cost me to do that?
It's hard to tell because the devil's always in the details. But as far as I'm concerned, that situation it's not relevant to the issues, for example, that I was involved in. I didn't care if transgender people wanted to be called by some pronouns, like whatever. That's something for individuals to negotiate. When the government makes that a compulsion and insists in their legislation that biological sex, gender identity, gender expression, and sexual proclivity vary independently, it's like, no, they don't. That's wrong factually, and you're not going to compel my speech. I don't care what your damn justification is.
So you see that as, am I right in that you see that as a curtailing of freedom?
It's worse than a curtailing of freedom. It's a demand that the population uses a certain kind of linguistic approach. It's an appropriation of speech. There's no excuse for that. That never has happened once in the history of English common law.
What about hate speech? What about hate speech? Yeah, I don't think that that's true. I think that that's verifiably untrue. There are already laws curtailing speech and demanding that the populace refrain from using certain kinds of speech and certain approaches to speech. That already exists. So you really disagree with Peterson all that much, or are you more disagreeing with the cult of personality? Well, as far as like it goes with his anti-SJW shit, I'd say I'm 90% there with him. Maybe even more. He's pretty close to where I'm at with it. But like I said, the shit that was wrapped around it when he was talking about responsibility at the beginning of this, I had a big problem with that. I barely got through that. And then I just kind of listened placidly through about 5 minutes of this because it's all anti-SJW stuff. So I'd stop short of saying that I agree with Jordan Peterson. I would be willing to say at this point that he and I are pretty close on, like, the impact of the SJW phenomenon and shit. I'd be willing to go that far with it.
Right? It's a barrier that we do not cross. Hate speech laws are bad enough. It's not like there's no hate speech. Like anyone with any sense knows that there's hate speech. Who's going to regulate it? Who's going to define it? And I know the answer to that. The last people in the world you would want to. And then we cross another barrier and we allow the government to compel speech for some hypothetically compassionate reason? No way.
Well, now, I agree. I think that the way that he got here was a little convoluted, but I agree with the end sentiment there. Like, compelling people to be polite is not the same thing as laws against hate speech. And a compulsion to be polite and like a compulsion to respect the feelings of other people, I agree, is like a benign purpose with a cancerous fucking intent at the heart of it. It's like, oh yeah, man, because like, yeah, no fucking trans person should have to deal with being called a man, but letting the government step into that type of speech is just never a good thing. I watched a little bit of the Dillahunty debate, but let's get through. We're almost done, actually. I think this is almost finished.
That's a really bad idea.
Dr. Peterson, thanks very much for joining us.
All right, yeah. So that'd be that. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know how to feel about that. I don't think it was the greatest clip to watch to get a broad view of what Peterson's really about, because I think, like I said, I think the SJW stuff might have gotten his foot in the door with people, but I think his core philosophy is pretty different. I'm gay. I'm against hate speech laws. How can I protect myself from those who might do me harm if I do not know their basic character? I mean, I understand your point. I don't know where I stand on hate speech laws, honestly. I'm pretty conflicted on them. I can see your side of the argument. I have similar sentiments. This idea that I'd rather have that kind of bullshit out there in the sunlight. I mean, I've talked about that before. Let people say, you know, be what they are and say what they are openly and honestly. And be tolerant of speech. But I also know that speech can be used as a weapon. Charismatic people can cause people of lesser intellect or more more malleable-minded people. They can set off a chain of violence that ends the lives of people, and it's happened over and over and over and over and over again. Nor do I think that it's healthy for our society, especially a society like ours that struggled so mightily and so long into the fucking 19th century with our slavery fucking problem. I don't think we should be tolerant of like churches in the middle of the city setting up and just preaching hate against black people that live, within blocks of there to our, that just, it sounds like a recipe for loss of life. So there needs to be some measure of control if we're going to live in a polite and civilized society with the rules that we've established. If we want to go outside of that, maybe some radical form of free speech can be allowed. Some ultimate fucking free speech where you're allowed to do stupid shit that you really should never do. Yell fire in a crowded theater, threaten the president's life. I don't know what that society looks like, because I was born into this. I still don't fully understand this, but hammers can be used as a weapon. Should we ban hammers? Where is the line to be drawn and who gets to draw it? Wow, dude. I love these water muddying questions that people fling at you. Like they're arguments in and of themselves. Like, all right, hammers can be used as a weapon. Should we ban hammers? No, because you know what? Hammers can also be used as hammers. Guns can be used as a weapon. But you know what? Guns can also be used as a... Uh-oh. I think I found some bullshit in your first sentence. Let's see if there's some in your second question. Where's the line to be drawn and who gets to draw it? Certainly not somebody stupid like you that thinks a hammer is the same thing as a fucking firearm. Okay? Hunting for food? Yeah. You use it as a what? What is it used? What is it used as? It's a weapon that you use against an animal to equalize your chances of killing it. Right? Because with your bare hands, you're not going to take down a deer. So you bring a weapon that allows you to... Oh, a tool for hunting? You mean a weapon? What if you're out there with the gun and you're hunting deer, and then the boogeyman sneaks up behind you as you're aiming down the sights at a deer, and you hear him at the last second and wheel around and shoot him and kill him. When you killed him, was it a hunting tool or a weapon? Uh-oh. See, we found some logical inconsistency here. A weapon is a weapon is a weapon is a weapon is a weapon. It's important semantics at this point. Because this idea that it's like, oh, guns are just a tool. No, a hammer is just a tool. A gun is a weapon. Okay, hammers are just weapons against nails then? Oh, nails are living things now? Nails are living things now. Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess so. Damn, I didn't realize that, man. I feel bad about all the fucking nails I've bonked on the head in my life. You fucking talking about, retard? Are you equipped to have this debate with me? It's 6:30 in the morning. I haven't been to bed yet. I'm high off my fucking ass. And I'm pooping in your front yard, and you're not even shooing me away. You're just letting me do it. I'm like reading the newspaper on your front yard with my pants down, and just a torrent of liquid shit hitting your front yard. And you're not even coming out to shoo me away, motherfucker. You did not come equipped. Hammers are used as both weapons and tools. That's the point. Yeah, I agree. That's the point. Guns are used as both weapons and... Oh, guns are not tools. Sorry. You don't go to your toolbox and get a gun unless you're a fucking weirdo that carries your gun in a toolbox. You go to your toolbox to get a wrench. Now, you can also use that wrench to beat somebody over the head. You can use a fucking vase in your house to beat somebody over the head. You can use somebody's fucking prosthetic leg to beat somebody to death. I mean, you want to further muddy these waters, or do you want to agree that there's a distinction? A nail gun. All right, fair enough. Those should be restricted too. You ought to be trained in the use of a nail gun and only sold a nail gun if you can prove that you've had the training. Guns are not tools. Semantics argument, Paul. No. The semantics argument is people on the pro-gun side incessantly trying to insist that guns are tools so that they can pair them to hammers and knives and bullshit. Things that have multiple purposes. Gun's purpose is to fire and kill whatever's in front of it. That's a gun's purpose. There's no alternative purpose. The existence of that, if a gun is a tool, its only purpose is to kill whatever you point it at. But guns are cool though. No, they're weapons of war. They're tools of war, like wrenches commissioned by the fucking War Department to fix tanks. The tank that they're fixing is a weapon of war because it only has one purpose: to bulldoze over somebody else's structures and point that big ass gun at something and kill it. There's no other use for a tank. That's why they exist. You know, you can shoot targets for sport. They can also be sporting equipment. What is that sporting in furtherance of? It's all target shooting, right? What do you think that target shooting is about? Let's go down this rabbit hole. Never mind. I'll just let your brain fill in the blanks if it can, and if it can't, well, I'm wasting my fucking time anyway. So you're telling me because you can practice with guns, even avidly practice with guns, that their purpose is to practice with guns? So people made guns so that they could shoot at paper targets with the vague outline of humans on them? Is that why they were made in the first place? Because what I remember about the invention of guns was they were made to kill whatever was standing in front of you. But maybe I'm fucking wrong. Hey, dude, maybe I'm fucking totally wrong. Maybe guns were invented so retards could stand around in a fucking gun club and shoot at targets shaped like human beings. And then somebody got the wild idea to point it at a human one day. Holy fucking shit, man. I've been looking at this whole gun thing backwards. I've been looking at this whole gun thing backwards. We're banning swords too, right? I wouldn't weep a single fucking tear if we did. But I'm not saying we should ban guns, so. But yeah, if they banned swords tomorrow, I'd just laugh. I don't give a fuck. What was the first knife invented for, Paul? Probably as a tool. Probably as an implement to cut vines or bark off of a tree. I think you can't argue against hunting for food. What? Do you think the spear and arrowhead preceded the stone knife? Look a little bit into Stone Age tools and look at what the first knife was. The first knife was a fucking flat rock with a sharp edge. It was used as a fucking scraping tool and shit. Used to cut meat. Nobody sharpened a rock just to fucking stab somebody first. It was used as a tool. Yeah, this conversation is fucking dumb. Like, the whole pro-gun argument is fucking stupid. And the fact that they'll argue with a person like me, I'm not even talking about banning guns. I just want the retards that want to have guns to have to go through some fucking training and testing. So that people like the Pulse shooter and, you know, the fucking school shooters and shit, I want there to be, like, they can't get their fucking hands on this shit. Crazy people can't get their hands on this shit. I want there to be rules for how you should have to keep your guns locked up. Trigger guards or gun safes or something. So that there's no excuse when your teenage child knows where you keep the fucking M16 in the house, goes up in the attic and gets it and goes to school and kills people. There should be a trigger guard on that gun if it's in storage. There should be a trigger guard on that gun if it's under your fucking bed. And there's really no excuse now because they have trigger guards with thumbprint fucking shit on them. That's the type of shit that I argue for. I want guns to be banned. I want you stupid, dumb fucks to be able to still have your arsenal of guns, provided that you're not a crazy motherfucker with a history of fucking violent crimes. I mean a trigger lock or whatever the fuck it is. Okay, so trigger guard isn't, whatever that thing is you put in the fucking, you know what I mean? Like, the gun needs to be secured. And anybody who's teenage fucking kid or middle school aged fucking kid grabs their gun and kills himself with it, or grabs the gun and goes to school and kills a bunch of kids with it, should be held somewhat responsible for those crimes. They should be held negligent. They should have their ability to have weapons removed from them. They have shown themselves to be irresponsible. And to allow them to continue to be irresponsible could lead to further death. Right now, you know what happens? The local news shows up and they get to give a tearful interview if they want to. And that's it. I agree, Paul. Guns should be harder to get. I just think harping on the definition of weapons versus tools is a bit silly. Well, you know what? I don't think it is. I think it's an important distinction that needs to be made. Because I think it's one of the ways that pro-gun people sneak by their idea that everybody should have a gun in their pocket, that we should arm teachers. It's just like all one of those things. Oh, it's just a tool. Why not let the teacher use it? It's just a tool. You know a gun's not a weapon unless you plan on using it against somebody. Gun's just a tool. Fuck you. A gun is a weapon. Call it what it is, and we're fine. Try and call it something else, and we're not fine. Okay, Paul, all guns are only for killing. What do you propose we do with this new information? Well, for one, stop calling guns a tool and start calling them what they are. A weapon. Then, start sensibly legislating them as all weapons should be. And go from there. I mean, anything else? I mean, do you want the whole fucking timeline, Kim Jong-un? Are you banned? You're not fucking banned. Quit doing ban checks. Is a knife a tool or a weapon? Can be both. A gun can't be both, but a knife can. Weapon or tool they designed to kill. Do you agree with knife restrictions in the UK? Sure. Why would I disagree with them? What do they got? Like waiting lists and shit, restrictions? I mean, we have those here. We have knife restrictions here. You're only allowed to carry on your person a knife of a certain length in most places in this country. I guess it's different in some places. Most places in this country have restrictions on knives. Should I be crying about that? You're really for knife regulation? You're really against it? You want fucking edgelords walking around with samurai swords strapped to their hips? Some knife laws are absurd. Whatever. Whatever. I don't think our society is worse off because of knife laws. I'm fine with the no longer than your palm shit. I don't want to go back to the samurai time. No, it would not be cool. You know what would be cool? To live back in actual samurai times. You know what isn't cool? A fat fuck with a Naruto headband standing in the middle of the street pulling his katana on you because you fucking disrespected his milady. That's not cool. That's retarded and not a way forward for our society, hence knife laws. Excuse me, sir. Did you not see milady walking in? Why would you push her out of the way so brusquely, sir? Excuse me, sir. Sing! Sir, I advise you to turn around lest you want to be cut down from behind, sir. I warn you, I've trained in ninjutsu several times. I watched Naruto since I was 24 years old. I've been a Naruto fan. I'm now 48, sir, and I will not allow you to disrespect milady. What was that? Would you don't turn around. Don't put your hands up, sir. Don't come near me. Oh my wamo shinderu. You're surprised I know that line. I live with a weeb, dude. I'm in love with the weeaboo. I could do a rap song. I'm in love with the weeaboo. I used to think that shit was gay, but now I think it's kawaii. I'm in love with the weeaboo. Yeah, Ashley is a cool weeb. I agree. Holy shit, dude. I'm in desperate need of something to drink. So I'm gonna go get that. I got the cotton mouth. I got the dry throat. Give me a minute. I'll crank up the music for you guys. But I'm gonna remove you from the screen. Give you something else to look at. I'll be back. Okay, what is this shit playing? This beat is terrible. Sounds like somebody trying to remix Aladdin or some shit. I apologize for that. Bad, yeah, bad Egyptian beats, dude. Yeah. Well, I got something to drink, and I got some almonds, which you guys are probably going to have to listen to me crunch on. If you don't like it, I don't know what to tell you. What about Warhammers? Get the fuck out of here, man. I'm done with that. Guns will never get banned in the U.S. What debate? I mean, like, not only that, but it would be totally unenforceable here. So, I don't know. It's just a stupid thing to fucking worry about. Let's just regulate them like we do everything else. I don't know, dude. I like almonds. You did like years of paleo, huh? So just like raw shit. A primordial dwarf. Yeah, isn't that little dude that's he was in that shitty 90s remake of The Island of Dr. Moreau. I don't know what his name was, but I've seen him. I think he's a primordial dwarf because he's tiny, like Tom Thumb sized. But he's, he looks like a little human. Like not, you know what I mean. Let me go look him up. Here we go. IMDb. Cast. Nelson de la Rosa. Okay. There we go. Nelson de la Rosa. Yeah, he's one of the shortest men of the 20th and 21st centuries. Nelson measured 71 centimeters tall. It's about 2 feet 4 inches tall. Let's see. So this is him. In the Island of Dr. Moreau. Some more pictures of him. There he is with Brando. What the fuck? Another weird movie he was in, El Hombre Rata, the Rat Man. So, yeah. He looks like a Fallout ghoul. Well, that was a bunch of makeup on him. He doesn't really look that way. Let's see. Hold on. There you go. So that's him. That's what he really looked like. Like a little Dominican dude. Adorable. Yeah. Marlon Brando apparently really liked him. He had a very small role in that horrible movie. And then when Marlon Brando finally got to the set and started acting, he met Nelson de la Rosa. And immediately became friends with him and insisted that he be in every scene that Brando was in. And he was. A life of luxury only results in cancer or suicide. Where's the escape route? There isn't one. But there's not one for anybody. That's the same for everybody. I mean, even if your life doesn't end in cancer or suicide, even if you're in some third world country, the end result is the same. You're dead. My friend and I are watching a documentary on them right now, and there's a 2-foot-tall 16-year-old girl on there who weighs 16 pounds. Whoa. That's crazy. How do I remember this guy? I don't know. Stuck out on my brain. Seemed like an interesting little chap. Where's the documentary? Shit. Let me look it up for you. Can't remember what it's called. It is gonna be Lost Soul. The full name of it is Lost Soul, The Doomed Journey of Richard Stanley's Island of Dr. Moreau. It's a 2014 documentary. Really, really good. You should watch it. It even if you like, it's a little slow at the start. Stick with it. It goes unexpected places, especially if you know nothing about this movie. It's really funny. It's really kind of heartwarming at the end of it, and really interesting if you're into movies and what goes on behind the scenes of the making of a movie. I just think about how awesome it is to take a nap where you pass out so hard you might as well not exist. Isn't death the same, only unlimited? Yeah. Death is just like going to sleep one last time, dude. It's oblivion. But you can't wake up to appreciate it. Yeah, but you never know that you can't wake up to appreciate it. Dying hurts, only while it's happening. After that, nothing hurts, nothing exists. Like I said, oblivion. Oh my god. Just get out of here, dude. Nobody's saying it's exactly like going to sleep. The loss of consciousness is what's implied. The loss of control over your bodily functions, the giving yourself over to an altered state of consciousness. Death is no different. Quit being a pedantic fuck, dude. Corpses snore? That's so gross. It's reason number 9,000. I could never fucking work in like a mortuary or anything. Actually, death is yeah. I can't imagine actually talking to these people IRL. Oh man. Oh boy. Do you want to be shot out of a cannon into a brick wall? Yeah, that'd be a good way to go, because, I mean, you wouldn't feel shit. You just get the exhilaration of the speed and then splat. There wouldn't even really be time for the pain receptors in your brain to fucking pick it up, because the brain wouldn't be there by the time that would happen, so... There are too few truly comic deaths. That is so untrue. Let's read a few choice selections, shall we? From one of my favorite websites, one of the longest running favorite websites of mine. The good old Darwin Awards, man. Darwin Awards. All right, so let's see. Let's just do the ones from 2018. Here's one called Karmic Schadenfreude. He who cannot put his thoughts on ice should not enter into the heat of dispute. That's a Friedrich Nietzsche quote. It says, 14th of February in 2018 in Berlin, a 19-year-old and his soon-to-be ex were walking along a beautiful Havel River, quarreling. Unable to win his conversational point, the frustrated man suddenly shoved the woman into the icy river, jumping in to push her under again and again. But she could swim, and he could not. She got away from him, swam safely to land, and very quickly recovered from hypothermia. He sank and lost consciousness in the 2 degrees Celsius water, forever forgetting the quarrel, and was pulled out by water police and transported to the clinic in Berlin. He fell into a carceral coma and died. Usually, no Darwin Award is granted when an innocent bystander is injured. In this case, we make a rare exception because the woman fully recovered and is perforce better off without this madman. So, yeah. That's one from 2018. Let's see. Mind the Cone Zone. Here we go. 8th of March, 2018, New Jersey. A Wanaka man died in a vehicle fire after he drove around barricade cones and onto live power wires in Franklin Lakes. A good son, Anthony G., was en route to his father's house to shovel the driveway. After the second nor'easter storm in a week, hundreds of thousands were left without power. Utility crews worked overtime to deal with the downed trees and electric lines. Traffic snarls and frustrated motorists were everywhere. Anthony did not want to lose time to a detour, so according to police, our winner simply navigated around bright orange traffic cones, warning of motorists of a hazardous down wire on Route 208. Responding to calls, officers arrived at 9 a.m. to find the vehicle fully engulfed in flames. A live power line was sputtering in the roadway near the vehicle. The fire totally gutted the car, and the driver was pronounced dead at the scene. So, dipshit ignored all the warning signs. Let's see here. Yeah, I can show you guys a little of this, I guess. Here's some footage from that scene. His car with the downed power line underneath it here, and apparently he's in there somewhere. Not much of him anymore, but I think that's deserving of a Darwin Award. Reticulated python, okay. 28th January, 2018, Selangor, Malaysia. Zaim Kosnan spotted a 12-foot reticulated python dozing on the side of the road. That sizable snake is worth money, the 35-year-old prepared for this windfall with gloves and a sickle. Sweet success. Swiftly was the first round won, and triumphantly, Zaim held the reptile's head high as he transported it home by motorbike. Okay. Swinging in the air, the displeased captive made a countermove and wrapped its body around its captor, constricting in self-defense. Zaim swerved off the road, and the results of round 2 became apparent to passersby the next morning. They killed the 3.5-meter snake to free the man's body, and a post-mortem confirmed his death by strangulation. Zaim Khalis was described as a quiet person who kept to himself. Wow. Yep. That one works for me. But let's see here. Let's go home. Let's try and find some of the best. Do they have like a top ones of all time? You see if they've got to have something like that, right? Oh, okay, yeah, there's some favorites. Got it. So you can like search by things too to find out how many people have died dumb by. Oops, it looks like their website's a little broken. Let's see. Yeah. So chainsaw. Here's a 2002 award honoring Charles Darwin. Yeah. Okay, so January 2002, Croatia. A Croatian was killed while trying to open a hand grenade with a chainsaw. He wanted to retrieve the explosive to make firecrackers for the upcoming New Year's holiday. Wow. Here's another chainsaw one. January 2002 in Italy. And this one is actually confirmed true by Darwin, so they've actually gone through the rigors of proving this one. A violent attack on an innocent man. Andreas, a 23-year-old ex-bouncer from Italy, was found lying in a pool of blood near a country road. Police initially mistook him for a victim of a sadistic mutilation. His left leg had been nearly severed by a chainsaw. His last act was an emergency call to operators who heard only a death rattle. And by the time help arrived, copious bleeding had drained his body of blood. Sad plight, not quite. The incredible truth was far odder. Andreas had conspired with his cousin in an insurance scam. The 29-year-old accomplice confessed that he was the assailant who attacked and inadvertently killed the younger man in a mutually planned insurance fraud that went badly awry. Andreas had convinced his cousin to cut his leg off with a chainsaw in order to reap nearly $1 million from numerous insurance policies. Permanent disability was all that was required. Andreas relied on his cunning and his knowledge of first aid to survive the chainsaw incident. The attack took place near a country lay-by. The cousin sawed Andreas's leg bone below the knee and severed a major artery in a gambit timed too close for survival. Emergency crews arrived to find Andreas dead, and his cousin fled, tossing the chainsaw in a river on the way out of town. Wow. That's a dumbass. What else should I search for here, guys? Because I can search for anything. Like, it has to probably be like a weapon or a way of dying. Like, what do you guys want to hear? Because they're ranked too by votes, so we can see some of the top. Sex. All right, I'll search for it. Let's see if there's anything. Yep, Love Crushed Sex from 1999, June 1999, Florida, Okeechobee County, Okeechobee County investigators believe the death of Brian, 28, was related to his wife's habit of stomping rabbits and mice for sexual pleasure. Stephanie, 29, was sentenced to 2 years probation and community service for the death of her husband, Brian, who was found in a pit with a board over his body, crushed beneath the rear wheel of his sports utility vehicle. Stephanie did not deny that she drove over her husband, but in her own defense, she released tapes to the police showing her stomping small mammals to death. She was identified by a cryptic tattoo on her lower leg. Such crush videos are sold to people who derive sexual pleasure from the sight of death, especially at the hands of a woman. It was abhorrent and cruel, said Assistant State Attorney Bernard Romero. My first instinct was to seek the maximum penalty. But Stephanie contended that she was an unwilling participant in the videos and had been beaten many times by her husband prior to his bizarre death. Stephanie was charged in July with 2 counts of felony animal cruelty, which were later reduced to misdemeanors. As for her husband, his death was under the wheels of his car, was presumably a loving sex act between consenting adults. But a man who would lie in a special pit while a woman he groomed for crush videos drove over him shouldn't be surprised when he winds up holding a Darwin Award. Yep. So let's see if there's anything else for sex. 2000. This is called Baby Drives Me Crazy. 7th of May 2000 in Italy. Full speed ahead. A young couple was killed in a freak car accident in Chieti this weekend. Germano and Francesca were discovered almost completely naked, and investigators assume they were having sex in their small Italian vehicle while it raced along Abruzzon roads at upwards of 80 miles per hour. Italian youngsters commonly use their cars for romantic trysts when parents forbid sex before marriage, but it's a mystery why this pair chose sex in a car traveling at high speeds over a country road. Germano lost control of the car in a bend, and the 27-year-old man and his 20-year-old paramour were killed on impact. All right, what else? Well, you guys, of course, you had to search for sex first. Give me something else. Wood chipper? All right, I'll try it. That's right. Yep. The Daily Grind, 2000. He really got caught up in his work, is the quote. 1st of March 2000 in Maine, the owner of the Carrier Chipping Company inadvertently reproduced the chilling climactic scene in the movie Fargo and was rent asunder by his own wood chipper. The chipper, affectionately known as the hog, will take birch or maple logs up to 24 inches in diameter and reduce them to 3/4 inch chips of wood. Employees were working late to make up time spent repairing equipment malfunctions earlier in the day. When the hog jammed, Michael climbed the conveyor belt feeding the chipper and used a rake to break up the bark jam in the chute. Director C. William Freeman of the Bangor Occupational Safety and Health Administration said, generally our experience of fatal accidents involving wood chippers has found two causes: inadequate machine guarding or a failure to institute an effective lockout program when someone is unjamming the equipment. Apparently, Michael was not a proponent of lockout tag-out procedures. His efforts were directed against a machine that was still in operation. The Scoegon resident was somewhat the worse for wear after his passage through the hog. Police Chief Butch Aslan said that the remains would be subjected to DNA analysis for positive ID, and added, I hope I never, ever see anything like this ever again. I had a hard time sleeping last night. Wow. Damn. That's fucking crazy. A spoon? All right, we'll try a spoon. See if anybody's ever died, interestingly, by spoon. Yep. 2003, exploding extortionist. Kim, September 7th, 2003, in Cambodia, confirmed true. Kim, nicknamed the Big Giant, right? What a great nickname, was an intimidatingly large former military policeman when he arrived in the Phnom Penh home of a drug dealer to extort money and amphetamines. He was a much smaller man soon afterwards. He pulled the pin from a grenade. Wait a minute, this doesn't have anything to do with a spoon. Well, whatever, we'll finish it anyway. He pulled the pin from a grenade to threaten the dealer, who immediately decided to give him the items he demanded. Then Kim, who had been drinking, forgot to put the pin back in before slipping the grenade into his pocket. He walked to his motorbike, well satisfied with the transaction. As he climbed aboard, the grenade exploded. Whether the drug dealer recovered his cash and in what condition is unknown. A reader says, returning the pin to a grenade will not render it inert. Once triggered, no fuse mechanism will halt until it's blown from the grenade. Returning a pin to a thrown or otherwise triggered grenade is a losing proposition. I think our bandit, a military police officer, remembered the pin, but skipped basic instruction. Well, there you go. There's that. Toilet. All right. Let's check out toilet. There's a bunch of personal accounts, but there's only one Darwin Award. It's from 1994. But the death actually happened in March 1989 in South Carolina. Michael Anderson Godwin was a lucky murderer whose death sentence had been commuted to life in prison. Ironically, he was sitting on the metal toilet in his cell and attempting to fix the TV set when he bit down on a live wire and electrocuted himself. Wow. That is truly the irony of fate. Indeed. So the dude was going to be killed by electrocution, got his sentence commuted, was all happy about it, sat down, and bit through a wire and got electrocuted to death anyway. Somebody said like poop. So let's see. We'll try poop or feces. Nope. Let's see. I'll try feces here. Yeah, there's just personal accounts for these. A piano? We'll try it. Nope. Try cat. Yeah. There's some deaths by cat. Here's a 1996 Darwin Award. Confirmed true. 2nd of January 1996 in India, a tiger killed one man and mauled another at Calcutta Zoo yesterday when they tried to put a marigold garland around its neck in a New Year's greeting. Whew. Prakesh Tiwari, the dead man, and Suresh Rai had been drinking before they bought the floral garlands and crossed the moat around the tiger's enclosure, authorities said. I was shocked to see the 2 young men weaving about in front of a tiger with garlands in their hands, said Rakesh Banjari, who witnessed the attack that triggered panic at a near stampede at the zoo. The men, both in their 20s, were trying to put the garland on a 13-year-old male Royal Bengal tiger named Shiva, after the Hindu god of destruction. When Rai threw the garland around Shiva's neck, the tiger attacked him. His friend Tiwari intervened, kicking the tiger in the face. The tiger released Rai and attacked and killed Tiwari. Wow. The two were reportedly devotees of the goddess Durga and had gone to worship the tiger. Immediately after the incident, an angry crowd went on a stone-pelting spree in which 2 children and a woman were injured. What? Wow. Let's see. Is there... Nope, that's the best cat one. So not an actual cat, but hammer. All right. Let's see hammer here. It's a 2006 award called Hammer of Doom. Confirmed true. August 2006, Brazil. August brings us a winner from Brazil who tried to disassemble a rocket-propelled grenade by driving back and forth over it with a car. This technique was ineffective, so he escalated to pounding the RPG with a sledgehammer. The second try worked in a sense. The explosion proved fatal to the man, 6 cars, and the repair shop wherein the efforts took place. 14 more RPGs were found in a car parked nearby. Police believe the ammunition was being scavenged to sell as scrap metal. If it wasn't scrap then, it certainly is now. Wow. Air pump or compressor? Nah. I don't think there's going to be anything for that. We'll try poisoning. Yeah. Poisonous pets. Well, this might be more venomous pets because snakes are venomous, not poisonous. But whatever. 15 snakes were found in the vicinity of a decomposed body in Stanton, Delaware on Tuesday. A neighbor complained about the smell, which led to the discovery of 8 rattlesnakes, 2 cobras, and the 3-day-old corpse. The 45-year-old owner of the reptiles was found 10 feet from the open cage of a young diamondback rattler. Apparently, the man was feeding the snake when he was terminally bitten. Yep. That's not really poison. That's venom. So let's see. Is there anything else? The Alchemist. Okay. Confirmed true. 10th of December 2007 in Russia. As a child, Sergei promised his grandmother, "I will establish for you the elixir of immortality. I want you to live forever." As an adult, we find Sergei sitting in his college biology class, licking potassium cyanide off of his palm. He had found that magic elixir. He swallowed poisons daily to strengthen his body and protect him from death. He regularly consumed small quantities of toxic mushrooms, arsenic, cyanide salts, and urged others to join him. During daring nighttime excursions, Sergei often said, "I shall not die. I've swallowed poison for years, and today nothing can kill me." After swallowing the cyanide, he began to feel ill and asked his classmates to fetch him some water, but instead of drinking plain water, he dissolved the rest of the cyanide powder in it and consumed the solution. Sergei was an intelligent student, interested in chemistry and anatomy. He earned a gold medal and was accepted into 2 universities, the Medical Academy and the Ural State University. But Sergei's scientific premise was flawed. Instead of immortality, he had discovered the elixir of mortality. he went into convulsions, slipped into a coma, and died without regaining consciousness. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. All right, let's see what you got here, Coolman. 4chan and a grenade. Okay. 4chan and a grenade. Here, let's just do this. There we go. Look what the fuck I found laying in the forest today, B. Is it dangerous? So this is a grenade. Pull the pin already. OP here. I repeat my question. Is it dangerous? Nah, just pull the pin. Another proof shot. Okay, but why would you want to see the bottom? What's important? So, okay, so somebody apparently asked him at some point in the thread to show him the bottom of the grenade. And they answer, military often drill the bottom out for practice grenades. I think the fuse is still inside, just the cap is off. Could be super dangerous now. See if you can see the powder. So the bottom is definitely not drilled out. Update. So as you faggot suggested, I tried to pull the pin, but basically the whole top broke off. I left it there for a few minutes, but nothing is happening. What do next? Smack it with a hammer. Fuck, you have some balls. Okay. Light a smallish fire in the forest. Throw the grenade into it. Run for cover. Question mark, question mark, question mark, profit. Right. I can't really light a fire at the moment. It's in the microwave as we speak. So basically what the fuck will happen? Oh my god. Wait a minute. Whoops. God damn it. I fucked this up. Alright, so he puts it in the fucking microwave. I think that OP might be dead now. OP here. Sorry it took so long. I tried burning it several minutes. Nothing happened. For fuck's sake, what do next? What the fuck? OP here. Running over with my car doesn't do anything either. What's next, guys? And that was the last we heard from OP. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. What the fuck? Even if it's fake, it's still hilarious. That's true. Yeah, maybe he was the dude in that Darwin Award, man. Maybe OP was the guy that was smacking that grenade with a hammer. Well, whatever. I think I'm going to go ahead and end this now. Thank you guys for chilling. It's been fun. I'll see you next time. Goodbye, good night, and good luck.